Texas Tech hasn't even played a game in the Big 12 tournament, and yet their resume has improved. In today's video, we'll recap why that is, as well as discuss the two possible teams Texas Tech can play in their quarterfinal matchup, as well as look at the totality of what is the best Big 12 scenario for Texas Tech to improve their resume and have a chance at that final 2 seed. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. Appreciate y'all tuning in to this crazy month of content we have here on the channel. It truly means the world. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and join the Back to 12 squad by turning on that notification bell for 100% free Texas Tech men's basketball content all year long. And I'd be remiss not to mention, we will be having a live selection Sunday stream here on the channel. We will be giving away a $50 home field apparel gift card. So if you're a Texas Tech fan and want instant reaction to where the Red Raiders will be slotted in the NCAA tournament, as well as their region in its totality, well, this is the place to be. So again, like the video and hit that subscribe button. All right, let's jump into what the Big 12 tournament bracket looks like right now as we speak. See it on your screen right there. In the first day out in Kansas City, you had Cincinnati just obliterate Oklahoma State and put them out of their misery. Colorado actually upset TCU, the 16 over the 9. Jamie Dixon, a.k.a. the ankle assassin, if you know, you know, goes back home to Fort Worth. TCU's season is officially kaput. Then you have Arizona State losing to K-State. K-State will play Baylor. We'll talk about that game a little bit more here in just a second. And UCF, maybe the most meaningful game of the day at the Big 12 tournament for Texas Tech fans, UCF beat Utah by 15. Why is that important? We'll discuss it here in just a second. So the matchups we have today, and I love conference tournament week, by the way, just quick tangent. I love that I can turn on my television at 10 a.m. and not stop watching meaningful college basketball until damn near midnight or after it. It is electric. Okay. Anyway, I digress. Cincinnati kicks off the day against Iowa State. Iowa State heavy favorites up there, and a de facto home game for them as Ames is relatively close to Kansas City. Colorado, can they continue this Cinderella-like run in the Big 12 tournament and upset the DeBreves Fighting Mountaineers out in Kansas City? Then you've got K-State and Baylor, UCF, the 14 against the actual home team of this tournament in the Kansas Jayhawks. Now, Kansas State and Baylor, one of those two teams will face Texas Tech tomorrow night at 6 p.m. on either ESPN or ESPN2. I'm here to tell you right now, you want it to be Baylor if you were a Texas Tech fan. Why? Because Texas Tech would have a chance at another quad one win. Why is that impactful? If you want Texas Tech on the 2 line or to have an actual chance at it, you need to play Baylor. Kansas State is not going to give you the opportunity to improve your resume, at least on the quad one side of things. Now, why was UCF so impactful? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's head on over to the net rankings. You can see it on your screen now. Texas Tech is 7th in the net. And you might notice, if you were a frequent watcher of the channel, which I hope you are, Texas Tech yesterday, in the video that we posted here on the channel about bracketology, had a quad 3 loss. That is no longer the case right now as it stands with that dominant win for UCF over Utah. UCF is now back in the top 75 of the net, 72 to be exact, which means they have moved from a quad 3 loss to a quad 2 loss. That loss still gives me fits, and I absolutely hate it, just like you guys, but that absolutely helps Texas Tech in terms of keeping a clean resume. You play a lot of great teams in the Big 12. The Big 12 is better than some of the conferences of the teams that are fighting for that final 2 seed, mostly looking at St. John's. Texas Tech now has 7 losses on the year, which they did have yesterday, but now all of them are in the quad 1 or the Q2 region, which is impactful for Texas Tech in terms of, again, having that clean resume, which the committee likes to look at. Now, you also go and look at KenPom. Things have changed just a little bit. You have Gonzaga up at 9. They were 8 yesterday, but they actually went down after winning the West Coast Conference tournament, which is crazy considering St. Mary's had beaten them twice already this year. Gonzaga is going to be one of those teams where, I'll be honest with you, if you want Texas Tech to have the 2 line, I don't know if you do, from the simple standpoint of Gonzaga is more than likely going to be a 7 seed now. And I know what you're thinking to yourself, RC, how is Gonzaga going to be a 7 seed when they are literally 9th on KenPom? Well, their resume isn't all that great when it comes down to it. And they've been a roller coaster a little bit in the sense of, their wins are like, I believe it's 21 of their 25 wins. I guess it's technically 21. Like, just they've come by 20 points or more. They play in the West Coast Conference, right? But all 8 of their losses have been within like 7 points, okay? So it's one of those deals where I think they're not going to be an 8 or a 9 seed. I think they're going to be a 7. And if you're a Texas Tech fan wanting a 2 seed, well, you definitely want to avoid Gonzaga in the round of 32 because they just feel like they're on a mission to go to their 10th consecutive Sweet 16. So you look at the overall metrics in terms of what we just looked at from a net perspective, as well as KenPom. Let's look at the latest CBS bracketology. And I know a lot of y'all don't like looking at this one, but it is what it is in this regard. I want to zoom in for you guys here in terms of zooming in so you guys can see a little bit more of this bracket and its clarity. You see Texas Tech right there. They are in the West. They are a 3 seed according to Jerry Palm. And they would face off against UNC Wilmington in this one, who just won their conference championship last night. This isn't a bad region for Texas Tech. Not a lot has changed here outside of, a 16 and a 15 and maybe a slot or 2 for certain teams, including the 8 and the 9 from yesterday. But overall, we're getting the sense now, as I get fully back on screen here, that Texas Tech, and again, we've talked about this, they're more than likely going to be a 3 seed. But when you look at the Big 12 conference side of things, and I want to put this back on the screen for you guys just so it doesn't feel like I'm rambling for no reason whatsoever. Texas Tech, you want them to go as far as possible in this just to have that solidification, right, in terms of the 2 seed or the highest 3. Now, Grant McCasland, before getting on the plane to go to Kansas City last night, he said that he expects everyone to play like usual. He did admit, though, in this local media press conference that no one is 100% at this time of the year. That should not be world-breaking news to anybody and no reason to panic whatsoever. Really, this came from a D5 question, who I believe it was Jarrett Johnson over at Inside the Red Raider, who obviously does great work over there for the CBS 247 site. He asked if D5 would be good to go. Grant McCasland said, yeah, as good to go as he can be right now, in the sense of nobody in college basketball is 100% right now, people. Zero players are 100% unless they have played like 0 minutes, okay? And even then, through practice, that's just a grind, right? But D5 should be ready to go, and Grant McCasland has said they're going to give it everything they've got to potentially win the Big 12 championship. Now, obviously, things can change throughout this, but again, the big thing for Texas Tech here, as I get back on the screen, you want Baylor to win tonight if you are a Texas Tech fan, because it gives Texas Tech a better opportunity at a quad 1 victory, and that will increase their resume, not only if you are one of those people that want Texas Tech on the 2 line, right, but just solidifying them as a 3 seed, because we know through conference tournament week, even these teams that are in the same range as Texas Tech, they can go and win a conference title and push Texas Tech down, and before you know it, they're a 4 seed, right? Should they be a 4 seed? Absolutely not. They should be a 3, and I think at the end of the day, that's where they will end up. But you want to be one of the top 2, 3 seeds. That way, when you go into the tournament, you have the opportunity to play in Wichita or Denver in terms of site preference, and that is something that is critical for Texas Tech, in the sense that you think of where the Red Raiders have played in the past in terms of their deep tournament runs in recent years. In 2017 and 18, it was right down the street in Dallas, all right? In 2018, 2019, when they went to the Final Four, it was in Tulsa. It was relatively close, right? The closest places to Lubbock this year in terms of playing in the first round of the NCAA tournament are Denver and Wichita, okay? So you want Texas Tech to have every opportunity to play there, and right now they're in a firm position to do so. But again, back on the screen, you see the Big 12 today. You've got Cincinnati and Iowa State. That game is set to tip off in the early morning, 11:30 in Kansas City. Then you've got Colorado, the 16 against West Virginia, the 8, Kansas State, Baylor. That game, as I've mentioned numerous times throughout this video, is the game to pay most attention to. That is scheduled for 6 p.m. on ESPN+, with UCF and Kansas as the nightcap out there in Kansas City, where they will face off against each other with tip-off scheduled for 8:30 on ESPN2. But again, if you are a Texas Tech fan, you want to play Baylor tomorrow night, just from a resume perspective and strengthening it. And again, big news for Texas Tech. Grant McCasland says he expects everyone to play like usual. Did mention that no one is 100% at this time, but he expects everybody to go against whoever Texas Tech plays tomorrow night in the quarterfinals out there in Kansas City. Also, big news, Texas Tech has clean quad 3 and quad 4 resume now as UCF with their big-time win over Utah by 15 points on Tuesday night. Now moved into the top 75. That makes that a quad 2 loss for Texas Tech. A clean resume is vitally important for Texas Tech if they want to be that final 2 seed or one of the top 2, 3 seeds. All right. Hey, we'll be doing videos like this for the rest of the week. We'll preview the matchup here later tonight on the channel when that game goes official between Baylor and Kansas State for that preview matchup of the quarterfinals for the Red Raiders out in Kansas City. And if you want 100% free Texas Tech content all year long, whether it's on the hardwood or the gridiron, this is the place to be. The largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube, over 11,600 strong. Might get to 12,000 by the end of the month with the way we're putting out videos for you guys and the way you're responding. A sincere thank you to you guys. We're not done yet, and neither is Texas Tech. We'll be here throughout the whole journey. So again, reminder, live stream on Sunday for Selection Sunday. We'll be giving away a $50 home field apparel to one gift card to one lucky listener and viewer here on the YouTube channel. So you're going to want to be in the know for that. Best way to do it, like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell to join the Back to 12 squad today. And as always, stay safe and Wreck 'em Tech.